Lisa Kennedy Montgomery, an outspoken libertarian who spoke on Fox Business, shocked her viewers when she quickly said she was leaving the show after years of interesting commentary. Kennedy had been on the network for a long time and was known for her bold takes and quick wit. But behind the scenes, a bunch of strange things happened that caused her to leave quickly. What really made Kennedy quit Fox News when she was at the top of her game? You might be surprised by the answer. However, we need to know about her early life and how it shaped her. Lisa Kennedy Montgomery, who goes by the name Kennedy, was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on September 8, 1972. Her childhood was spent in the pretty Oregon town of Lake Oswego, which is not far from Portland. Kennedy grew up with her mother and two boys. Her childhood was filled with love, support, and a strong family bond. Her lively mix of Romanian and Scottish culture had a big impact on how she saw the world. It gave her a unique point of view that would become her brand in the media world. Kennedy had a deep intellect and an insatiable interest from a very young age. She did very well in school at Lake Ridge High School and developed a love of learning that led her to go to college. Kennedy started her college career at Santa Monica College after graduating from high school. This was an important step that led her to the famous University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA. It was at UCLA that Kennedy's academic potential really took off. She worked hard and was determined, which is why she got a grant. This is where she first learned about philosophy, a subject that would have a big impact on how she thought and talked throughout her work. Kennedy finished with a bachelor's degree in philosophy in 2005. This was a big step in her life and the start of an exciting new chapter. Now that Kennedy had a strong academic background, her next move would bring her to the attention of the world. She got a job at Crow QFM, a famous radio station in Los Angeles, by chance. There she quickly became known for her sharp wit and lively personality. The edgier alternative sound of the station was perfect for Kennedy, who quickly became known as the Virgin Kennedy, a name that summed up her unique mix of innocence and rebellion. Kennedy's life changed dramatically when she was offered the job of VJ at MTV in 1992. At the time, it was one of the most sought-after jobs in the media business. As a popular force, MTV was at its strongest during this time, changing the way a whole generation thinks and tastes. Kennedy's unbridled energy and style made her a huge hit with fans right away, and she quickly became a well-known name. Kennedy was a leader in the grunge movement that shaped the 1990s as the host of MTV's late-night alternative rock show Alternative Nation. She was very important in getting bands like Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam to a wider audience, bringing a new age of music into the world. She was a big deal in the music business because she could connect with her fans and really love the music. Even though it was hard for Kennedy as a young woman to work in a field dominated by men, her confidence and bravery made her stand out. She was never afraid to say what she thought or question the way things were, which made people both like and dislike her. In 1994, she mimed a private act on a microphone while standing next to Rudy Giuliani, who was mayor of New York City at the time, at the Video Music Awards. It was one of the most memorable moments of her MTV career. People thought it was brave and controversial, and it cemented Kennedy's image as a fearless and unapologetic performer. Kennedy had an effect on pop culture that went beyond her job as a VJ. By 1995, she had such a big impact that the character McGovern on the hit sitcom Murphy Brown was based on her. This shows how diverse her style and charm were. When her book Hey Ladies, Tales and Tips for Curious Girls came out in 1999, it made her even more of a pop culture star. It was a collection of personal stories and life lessons that spoke to young women all over the country. Kennedy's trip was not over yet, though. She made the brave choice to switch from TV to radio in the late 1990s, which gave her the chance to explore new parts of her personality and interests. She moved from Los Angeles to Seattle in 1999 and became the host of The Buzz on KQBZ Radio. The show had news, local flavor, and comedy, and Kennedy's quick wit and interesting personality came through. This move started a new part of her work, one that would make her go from being a pop culture star to a recognized media voice. In the following 2 years, Kennedy moved back to Los Angeles and joined forces with Amit Zappa to lead a morning radio show on the Comedy World Radio Network. Kennedy was able to improve her skills as a host and reporter on the show, which was a mix of current events and comedy. During this time, she also started to appear on game shows. She was the host of Friend or Foe on the Game Show Network, a job that showed how she could entertain and connect with people in new ways. Kennedy has never been afraid to try new things and take risks in her work, whether it was switching mediums or entering new genres. She is a well-known figure in the media business because she is brave, smart, and has a unique point of view. But it was when she started writing about politics that her career really changed and made plans for the next part of her life. Kennedy began to talk about politics when she left Seattle in 2001 to co-host a morning radio show with Amit Zappa. She began her journey into politics with this move, where her independent ideas and sharp analysis would reach a new group of people. Kennedy's politics are an interesting mix of independence and passion, showing how her ideas are complicated and change over time. Kennedy has never been registered with any party, but his political ideas have always been based on a strong belief in personal freedom and responsibility. She has been a strong supporter of privatization and has pushed for major changes to Social Security and other government programs. Her resistance to the war on drugs and excessive government red tape shows that she leans more toward libertarianism. She is now seen as a critic of both major political groups. People have noticed how brave Kennedy is when she speaks out. In 2015, she became a host on the Fox Business Network. Her show, Kennedy, gave her a chance to talk about politics with the wit and intelligence that are her trademarks. She quickly became a fan favorite because she could talk about tough topics with humor and intelligence. This made her a well-known political commentator. Kennedy's road has not been easy, even though she has been successful. Because she didn't feel bad about what she said, she often got into arguments with fans and coworkers, which caused tension and controversy. But Kennedy stayed true to herself the whole time. She never stopped speaking out for what she believed in or questioning the status quo. Kennedy's journey into politics started with Republicans being very excited about him. In 1994, she made it clear that she was a devoted Republican. This was the beginning of a lifelong love for conservative politics. In her early days in politics, she was different because she was always going against the grain. This was clear when she famously showed up at Bill Clinton's MTV Rock and Roll inaugural ball in 1993. Kennedy joked by chanting Nixon now as the Clintons took the stage. It was more than just an act of flirtation. It showed how much she admired Richard Nixon, a person whose impact is complicated and often misunderstood. In conservative circles, her backing for other Republicans like Dan Quayle and Bob Dole made her position even stronger. But when she spoke at the Republican National Convention in 1996, it was the high point of her early political career. With this chance, she became a rising star not only in the Republican Party but also in the public eye, someone who could motivate and inspire others. As Lisa Kennedy Montgomery continued to grow as a politician, a big change began to take shape. The active young woman who used to be proud to call herself a social conservative was now questioning the very views that had made her who she were. She admitted that social conservatism was making her feel bad. The stiff framework is being shed like an old cloak. She said something brave when she said, "I wasn't a Bush conservative, I was really a libertarian." In this way, Kennedy's journey toward a new ideological home began. This home would change her job and public image. This ideological awakening began when I met Kurt Loder by chance. Loder is a co-worker at MTV and a fellow thinker who is very interested in politics and philosophy. Kennedy first read Ayn Rand's books through Loder, especially Introduction to Objectivist Epistemology. Kennedy was greatly moved by the ideas in Rand's writings, which planted the seeds of libertarianism that would soon grow and thrive. Kennedy's switch to liberty was more than just a change of mind. It was an order to do something. As her views changed, she became more and more at odds with mainstream conservatism. She made a big choice when she backed Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party's presidential candidate, in both the 2012 and 2016 elections. This public support showed that she fully agreed with libertarian ideas and was ready to be different, even if it meant going against the party she had once strongly backed. Kennedy wrote an interesting piece for Reason in March 2012. Reason is a magazine that supports libertarian ideas. She boldly said that atheism should be recognized as a faith too, going against the traditional split between theistic and non-theistic beliefs. It was more than just a personal statement that this statement made. It showed her larger mindset, which stressed personal freedom, intellectual honesty, and always looking for the truth. Kennedy was a perfect fit for Fox News, which is known for having a diverse group of commentators and pundits. She had a unique mix of wit, wisdom, and libertarian charm. She started a new part of her work when she joined Fox News. Now, her ideas and beliefs would reach more people than ever before. Kennedy got her start in the world of Fox News as a reporter in 2012. People quickly became fans of hers because of how well she could analyze things, joke around, and get into heated arguments. She got better at being a political commentator during this time because she talked about a lot of different issues in a truly honest and funny way. The more Kennedy became famous on the network, the more Fox News noticed how popular she was becoming and how she had a unique point of view. By 2013, she was able to co-host the show Independence, which looked at how politics, society, and the economy affect each other. Kennedy was able to show how versatile she is and how well she can connect with a wide range of people through the show's format, which included lively debates, serious discussions, and funny segments. Kennedy's big break came about because of how well The Independents did. She was given her own show, Kennedy, by Fox News in 2015. It would air on the Fox Business Network at 8 p.m. ET. Kennedy's interesting personality and the show's unique style made it stand out quickly in the crowded world of cable news. One thing that made Kennedy stand out from other political talk shows was that it encouraged honest and open conversation. Kennedy told her guests to have real, unplanned conversations instead of following a strict structure or playing it safe with pre-written questions. She wasn't afraid to push her guests out of their comfort zones or ask them tough questions. She was always looking for the truth and shedding light on the problems that were most important to her audience. Kennedy was also known for being ready to face controversial issues head-on. It didn't matter if they were talking about the latest political scandal or the tough problems of civil liberties and social justice. Kennedy was always willing to take a stand and say what she thought. As she talked about the problems of the day on her show, her libertarian beliefs in personal freedom, limited government, and free markets helped her make decisions about what to talk about. From the beginning, Kennedy had a devoted following. People liked that the show was different from other political shows because it had both funny and serious parts. The show's numbers showed that people liked it. In its early years, Kennedy was always one of the best shows on the Fox Business Network. Everyone and everything changed during the COVID-19 outbreak, especially in the media world. When Fox Business Network faced problems that had never been seen before, they had to make some tough decisions. As the virus spread around the world, markets crashed and companies went out of business. It became important to have up-to-date economic news. Fox Business Network took Kennedy off the air in March 2020 after putting it on hold, which was big news. Fans didn't know if they would ever see Lisa Kennedy Montgomery on TV or in movies for 7 months. Kennedy, on the other hand, didn't like to be quiet for long. Fans were looking forward to the show's long-awaited return in October 2020. It came back with the same sharp wit and fearless criticism that fans had grown to love. Kennedy had to quickly change with the times. Even with strict safety rules, social isolation, working from home, and many other safety measures, the people who made the show had to find their way in unknown waters. It wasn't just the physical creation that was hard. People's viewing habits had changed in big ways. There was more competition in the media world than ever before since so many people worked from home. More people than ever were reading the news. However, they were also busy, worried, and stressed. In this new digital age, it was hard enough to stay relevant. Kennedy and her team knew they had to do better. They used social media in ways that had never been done before, interacting with fans online and giving fans exclusive material that kept them interested. Even with the problems, Kennedy continued to do well. People watched a lot of the show, showing that people still liked Kennedy's unique mix of humor, insight, and unapologetic criticism. An amazing 81,000 people watched the show's second episode after it was relaunched. In a world where people's attention spans were getting shorter and competition was tough, this was no easy task. As the pandemic went on, Kennedy's writing changed to fit the times. People talked about the most important problems of the day on the show. How the government responded to the outbreak, how lockdowns affected people's rights, and how the economy was hit so hard. In this situation, Kennedy's libertarian ideas about individual rights and small government became more important than ever. People who watched her show were getting more and more angry with the government's restrictions, so she used her show to question the usefulness of lockdowns and fight for personal freedoms. Kennedy was getting into a good groove, but just then, another storm was coming that would be even worse than the outbreak. Fox Business Network said something shocking in June 2023. Kennedy was going to be canceled. The news came like a lightning bolt, surprising both fans and people who work in the business. Lisa Kennedy Montgomery broke the news herself on social media on June 1st, 2023. She told people about it in her usual funny way by writing, "It's the last episode of Kennedy tonight, so let's go out with a bang." Just like my prom night, she had fans who had been with her through all the ups and downs of the show's 8.5-year run. They related to the message, which was both funny and sad. It was the end of an era when the cancellation happened. Kennedy has been a regular on Fox Business since its launch in 2015. The show is known for its lively debates, cultural commentary, and Kennedy's honest view of the world. But things were changing quickly in the media world, and the network's choice was a reflection of larger trends in what viewers wanted and how they wanted to see it. Once the show was over, Fox Business Network showed old episodes of Larry Kudlow's show at 7 p.m. This showed that the network was shifting its focus. Kudlow had a loyal following because he focused on economic analysis and market insights. He was the head of the National Economic Council during the Trump administration. His show always had higher numbers than Kennedy's, so it made sense to put it on during prime time. In a cable news market that is getting more and more competitive, Fox Business made the smart choice to focus on a show that could draw bigger crowds. It had been clear for a while. Kennedy's numbers had been going down noticeable for a while before it was canceled. The show used to have a huge audience, but now it only had about 81,000 viewers per episode, which is a lot less than Kudlow's show, which always had bigger crowds at a worse time. This drop was caused by bigger changes in how people got their news and opinion. More and more people were switching to digital platforms and other media sources. Kennedy's biggest move was when she told Fox News in August 2024 that she was leaving to become a writer for the Daily Mail. This big change marked the start of a new part of her work that would bring her voice to people all over the world. The news made waves in the media world, and people had responses that ranged from excitement to doubt. Fans were excited to see how Kennedy would bring her sharp mind and liberal beliefs to the Daily Mail, which is known for its shocking headlines and stories. Kennedy made a name for herself right away in her first piece for the Daily Mail. When she talked about the 2024 election, she did so from a new angle that tested common stories and started heated debates. Her columns quickly became must-reads, bringing her new readers and keeping her old fans interested. One thing is clear: Lisa Kennedy Montgomery is still figuring out how to work in the media world, which is always changing. She's still not done. Kennedy is still a strong voice that won't be shut down, whether she's on TV, in print, or through her show. This is true no matter how much the world around her changes.